Hi everyone, this is Julian, CEO and co-founder at Mergify. So today I'd like to show you why you need a merge queue. We keep having this conversation and this question all year long, like why people do need a merge queue. So I'm going to show you quickly how most people work on GitHub and the downside with that way of working without a merge queue and what can happen at large scale usually when you start having like 20, 30 engineers working in your repository. So bear with me. I have a very simple repository here, pretty standard, like it's a Python app, a calculator app, right? And I have two PRs. The first PR is pretty simple. It just adds statistics files, so it's a new features. It's a new file. This file actually use something existing, which is the calculate sum function here from math-util. So, just going to use an average, use a calculate sum for that. So nothing fancy. It adds a bunch of tests, so when it works, if I go to this PR, pretty straightforward, right? It just works. CI pass, the test is working. So yep, let's merge it, right? Nothing problematic here. So I'm going to merge this first PR. Works perfectly, right? So now I'm going to the second PR. Well, that second PR does something that works too. To rename the calculate sum to add numbers. If I go to the change, it seems to work. They just rename the function, right? So the CI said it works. So I can merge it, right? So I'm going to merge it. Well, if you followed what happened in the first PR, you might have the clue that's not going to work, right? Because function has been renamed. So if I go to my GitHub action here and I go to CI and I can see my CI I run for the PR1 that we merged and that CI passed, which makes sense because it was working in the PR, right? So it still worked. For PR2, it worked in the PR, but if I go there, it's still running. Let's wait a bit. Uh-oh, that actually failed, which makes sense. You can go back at the beginning of the video if you need, but we renamed the function. So why did it work in the first place? Well, what's happened is what we call a semantic conflict. So people are used to thinking about conflicts in a way where you touch the same files, but there are conflicts, which we call semantic conflicts, where people touch a piece of code like renaming the functions and people in another PR were just using that function and you just rename the function under their feed basically. So they can't use it anymore. Like the code that used to work independently, when you combine both of those PR together, they don't work anymore. The problem is that most teams, they combine those PR after the merge, like they merge those two PR in main, which is usually the branch you're going to deploy. And you do test that, but it's too late, right? You test that combination after they are merged in the main branch, which means one, you can't deploy anymore because it's broken. And people using that main branch right now to create new PR are going to have this same issue. So if I'm a developer and I'm going to create a third PR from that main commit, it's going to not work and I won't know why, because somebody broke the repository, and then you have to stop everything. Then if I'm a developer, I need to go back to why this happened, and I need to understand that two people modified the same kind of content and that conflicted semantically, and I need to revert one of the two PR. So it's a nightmare. You lose a lot of time. So if you're a team of 5 developers, usually that don't happen very often, but when you're a large team of 20, 30, 50 developers, especially if you work in a monorepo, that happens all the time. People change things that affects you. You don't necessarily know about it, and then everything is broken. So the way to fix that is actually to not merge blindly everything. I'm going to reset that repository to a sane state. Let me do that quickly. So that's going to reset my repository and create back the two PR that we see earlier. I'm going to use this time a merge queue to merge those. So the point is not to merge them blindly using the GitHub merge button. I'm going to put that into the Mergify merge queue, which is going to do one thing in particular: make sure that the combination of those PR work before merging them, right? That's the job of the merge queue. Make sure that we test this combination of PR before merging. So If I go there, I have my 2 PR, they're running the CI, they're going to work, same as before. And what I'm going to do is say, okay, this one I want to merge, so I'm going to queue it. And I'm going to use the queue command here. Same thing for this PR. Let's do that too. It's going to be ready soon. I'm all happy about that. Let's put it into the queue. Right. If I go back to the first PR, it's going to be pretty fast. This PR is up to date already, so there's nothing much more to test for a merge queue. It knows it works. There's no commit behind for this PR, so the queue is waiting for the CI to finish. It just finished, so it's going to merge it in a few seconds now. Boom, it's been merged, that worked, perfect. Now if I go to the second PR, this PR is not up to date anymore. I can actually see that because GitHub proposed me here, offers the update branch button to say, whoa, this PR is not up to date, so maybe it's not working. So I could click that button, update the PR and wait again for the CI. But if you do that for like 10 or 20 PRs, it's going to waste a lot of CI time. So you put that into the queue and the queue takes care of doing that for you. So what Mergify does is that it creates a temporary branch, a draft PR combining main, so that the latest commit from main, the one that received PR1 already, and it tested it with the 25 PR here, and we run the CI again. If you go down there, you see test is running. What's going to happen here is that test is going to fail. We saw that in the previous scenario. We know it's going to fail, right? Because we renamed the function, but that happens before we merge. So now, if we go back to PR number 2, it's actually not merged. And I can wait here and see that Mergify is going to report the failure from the merge queue, which means as a developer, I know that PR doesn't work anymore. And I can actually fix it, fix the code before merging it, make sure I retrigger the CI once I fixed it and put it back in the queue. And this time it will get merged. So this is essentially why you need a merge queue, is to prevent this kind of failure on the main branch before it's too late and before they break everyone. See, it failed. We know it, and we know it before we actually merge something to the main branch. So never merge blindly, always use a merge queue.